Hi, it's Mr. Smith, and in this video I'll be giving you a video tour of MyLab Math, which we also call MyLab. That's its old name. So anyway, let's get started. This is our home page in eCampus, and you can see in this view, I just click on MyLab Math. We also have, if you click on Content, this is another way to navigate. And notice I can click on MyLab Math here. Let's go ahead and, excuse me. Let's first start by clicking on the browser check. The first thing you're going to want to do is run your browser check. And it's just the first time that you go in. And you just want to make sure that your computer has all that it needs to run MyMathLab. You might have to download some plugins or some other software, but mine is good. Let's go back to MyLab Math by clicking here. It's a little weird getting around in MyLab Math, but that's how we do it. We're going to skip assignments. That's normally where you're going to spend most of your time. So here's our textbook online under eText. Does take just a minute to download. There we go. So we can click here, and this is the table of contents. If we had a book in front of us, we could go to every place that we could in our hardback book. Let me go ahead and go into chapter 5, and we'll go into section 3. Now, I've made my window a little smaller to create a video that's not blurry. And so your screen will look a little bit different when you're on full screen. But this should be pretty good. So this is section 5.3. And that's the first page of the section. You can go from page to page using the arrows here, or you can type in the page number there. Excuse me. So this is the first objective, define the rational numbers. And so you basically click here, and there's a video that goes over this. And the thing you'll see with the book online is it's very interactive. There's going to be other videos here. Let me see if I can find one. So here's our second objective, and there's another video. Sometimes, let's see, what's this here? Want to discuss this? I'm not sure exactly what that is. Anyway, you can kind of play around with that. Let's see. Let's go back. I'm going to click out of the textbook. Again, go back to MyLab Math. Oh, I know what I was going to say. You also will have access to the textbook when you're doing homework. It'll go to the section that you're in. Let's look at the video and resource library. So let's say it's late in the semester and you want to go back to a section and review. So let's go to chapter 5, section 3, and select all. And these are all the things that are included with MyLab Math and this textbook. Notice we have PowerPoint notes. You can check out the prep videos, but I give you enough that you probably don't need to do those, but you could. The rational numbers, this is a link to the textbook. And then, excuse me, you'll notice they don't really have one video for the whole section. They have videos on the different topics. And so these are the videos that you actually find when you're in MyMathLab. I'm sorry, when you're doing homework and you click on the help buttons, these are the videos. If you see video, the ones that you'll be seeing or that'll be there. Let's go ahead and get out of here and see what else we have. So MyLab Math. So we have the grade book. The only thing I would say is you can see your individual grades there, but the overall grade is going to be a little bit off because of some of the settings in MyLab Math. So each time we take a test, I'll update grades in eCampus. Those are the grades that you're going to want to pay attention to. Those are exact. Accessible resources, if you're interested in those, you can click on here. And I think the main thing they have is accessible, oh goodness, I can't think of it at the moment, PowerPoint notes. There we go. Computer's a little slow today. There we go. So, student study slides, video transcripts, e-text for the course. Anyway, these are other things that are available. Actually, I don't see the PowerPoint notes there, so they must be okay, the ones that we already looked at. All right, so let's move on. Let's see, integration support. Now with integration support, if you end up having problems during the semester and you have to get tech help, they'll probably have you go in here so they know how to help you. MyLab Math purchase options. If you want, you can purchase a paper copy of the book. It's basically a loose leaf 3-ring binder. It's like $60, $80 something in there. Most students don't order the book, but you certainly can. You'd have to pay for it yourself. I do want to talk about the math mindset, MyLab Math mindset. So if you struggle with your approach to mathematics, you tend to think you're just not good at math and you're just having a hard time getting over that obstacle, I would encourage you to look at the math mindset materials. It really talks about having an improved mindset, not towards just learning math, but just learning in general. Sometimes people feel like they're kind of just stuck where they're at, and that's not true. So you can read through there, and I think you'll find some good things there. I don't think there's anything else here we really need to look at. So I think we're ready to go into assignments. All right, so you've got a video on how to enter answers in MyLab Math. And most students these days seem to be pretty good with technology, but if you're struggling putting in answers, you might want to check that out. There's an introduction to the TI-30XS multi-view calculator. That's the calculator I recommend. If you're having any problems using it, I would encourage you to watch that. It goes through all the basics. Now, this is an online course. Notice these video sections, that's where you're going to get the materials to help you learn the material, and then the next one is your homework. So let's go to 5.3. So first, the videos. So I've made videos, I believe, for every section. Notice my videos start with 1T. So review of fractions, part 1, review of fractions, part 2. So these are videos of the same stuff that I present in my classes, and what I do in my videos should prepare you for the most part for the homework. I wouldn't say for necessarily everything, but the majority. And so those are the videos that I recommend. But you also have all the videos here that come with the book. Again, these are the videos, the help videos that you'll get when you click on the help buttons in MyLab Math. This is those PowerPoint notes we talked about before, so you could, especially if it's a topic that you're pretty comfortable with, you might just review the PowerPoint notes. And then you have a link to the textbook. And for some people, you can read through the textbook, click on those videos as needed. So I think a really important thing for all students is to learn what's going to be the best way for you personally to learn the material or review the material before you go on to the homework. Now, it really depends on the topic. If you're good with fractions, you might be able to jump right into the homework. But there's certainly several sections that we'll cover, or chapters, things that you're probably not familiar with. So this is where you have your things to help you learn the material. All right, so let's click out of here. We can actually arrow back. And by the way, you can see the due dates here for each of the assignments. The ones that that have due dates, well, those are all dated. Like the videos, notice those aren't dated. It's the assignments that have dates on them. All right, so let's go ahead and go into the 5.3 homework. And you can see that you can start wherever you want. Here we'd probably start on question 1. I'm actually going to go to question 10. And I just want to show you some things in MyLab Math. So here you're multiplying fractions. So I'm just going to go ahead and say 6 over 22. By the way, notice you have a fraction template down here that you can use. Click on there first and then put in the numbers. I just used the division bar. Check answer. Although your answer is equal to the correct answer, well, that means it's not simplified. Well, I'm just going to totally put in a different answer now. Let's just make this 3/5. Of course, that's going to be wrong. Of course, when you're multiplying fractions, you multiply the numerators, you multiply the denominators, and you simplify. Now notice I get one more shot. I'm just going to keep the same answer in there. And so it tells me the correct answer, the answer that I got. Notice I have a choice now. I can click on similar question or I can move on. So I'm going to just say, you know what, I'm trying to get through my homework. I'm just going to skip this for now. I'll move on to the next one. Notice I have a red X, so that problem was marked wrong. And so, but let's say I've done my homework. I want to come back. By the way, there's a couple of ways you can go around, navigate to the problems. You can see, you can go to whatever problem you want here. Here you can go forward or backwards. And you can also click here and you can go to whatever problem you want. You can see the one that we missed. It looks like you can also print out the homework here. So maybe print it out and then put in your answers. Let's go back to the one that we missed. Let's click on similar question. So here we multiply across, we get 16 over 27, and we're not going to be able to reduce that. You know what, I'll use the template this time. So 16, arrow down over 27, check answer. So notice I got a green check mark now. I'm going to move on to the next question, and you can see that problem's been corrected. So the point I'm trying to make here is if you're willing to put in the time and effort, you can get 100% on every homework assignment. So that certainly is very helpful when it comes to grades. I know I've had students in the high 90s and 100% on the homework, and yet they struggle on tests, so that homework, getting all those points can really help. So anyway, there's a couple more things I want to show you. So help me solve this. That's this button here. What it'll do is it'll take us step by step through this problem. But once you go through this problem, it'll give you another problem. And then the thing is, all the problems are generated automatically through some system. And so sometimes the numbers are kind of bad. So sometimes I'll tell students, just miss that problem and get the next problem. But if you like a problem, you probably don't want to click on help me solve this. You'd maybe want to view an example and then come back to this problem here. Now, my hope is the notes that are in my videos will prepare you for everything you're going to see in the homework, and you'll go back to those notes as needed to help you get through the problems. But you do have these help buttons as well. Now we can also click on Get More Help. Notice I can click on a video and it'll tell me how to do this kind of problem. I can click on Textbook. It'll take me to this section 5.3 in the textbook. Let's say you know, you're really struggling with the problem and you're not figuring it out. You could click on Ask My Instructor. It'll send me a copy of the problem. And you also have a place to put in your specific question. So especially with word problems, I'll get those a lot. I'll either send back a written response, or I may make a video and send that to you. Or sometimes I'll just, if you have more than a couple of questions, we may want to meet in teams and go over some problems together. So that is another option. Let's go ahead and click up here on this here. So there's some more stuff that deals with accessibility. Again, here's another way you can print. Just be careful. I haven't heard this complaint lately, but in the past I had students that printed out the homework and they did it, and they went out of MyLab. They came back in later and the problems were different. So if you have a problem like that, I'd like to know so I can at least share it with other students. But like I said, I haven't heard that problem or heard any complaints about that in a while. So anyway, I think that covers all the basics. If there's anything I've missed, or if you have any questions, just send me an email or give me a call.